Brother Symeon from Community Saint-Jean, Community Saint-Jean, is that right?
Yes.
Welcome again to Stockholm.
Thank you.
You have been to Sweden many years back. You came first time, and we met actually in France, and you were in Chimay.
In Belgium.
In Belgium, Chimay. And you were eager to learn Swedish, and you still are. But now you are in a good company, because you come here with relics from one of our teachers of the church, Saint Therese de Lisieux, and her parents, Louis and Célie. And the first question is, how did this start to even think about a pilgrimage with relics in the Nordic countries?
So, my concern here in Sweden and now in the Nordic countries is to work for families and young people, because you know they are the future of the families, and in families there are young people. So working for families, we organized with some friends here in Sweden some family festival. Some families organized it, and they invited us to come and to preach. When we were to organize the festival in Skåne in 2016, we are speaking about this festival in Banner. We had just 2 weeks before this festival in Sweden, Banner in Belgium. And I said to Cecilia, who was the organizer of this festival, "Oh, in Banner come the relics of Louis and Zélie Martin." And Cecilia said, "Oh, nice. They could come. If they could come here in Sweden afterwards. And yes, I thought it was a good idea, so I checked if it was possible, but unfortunately it was not possible, because the relics were had to go in another place in France. But it has been the first seed who gave me this idea to make this pilgrimage. And when I was speaking about it in a festival in Banner with brothers, and where there also 2 Swedish people were Sister Sophie Hamring and Ulf Ekman. And we were speaking together, and a brother told me, "Why do you want to go in Sweden with Louis and Zélie? They are not known at all." But yes, but I said, I want them to come in Sweden, because I am thinking about families, and it's a couple who is canonized, is not so frequent in the church. Actually, there are both. There are two couples canonized as wife and husband. And Sister Sophie was near me, and she said, "Yes, it's a good idea. And anyway, we have to let the saints go in front." And after I was thinking, since I am working for families, why we don't take the daughter? So and it has been the start of this project. But I didn't want to work by my own, so I chose to work with the church institution in Sweden. So my first step was to work with the family commission with Joranfelt, Jönköping, because I was thinking it's a natural way to work in the church. You have to work in communion with other. The church is a communion. Not so easy sometimes, but still communion. And we start, and my concern with Joranfelt was to bring in front of on the table in the Nordic Bishop Conference this project, and I had to wait quite a long time, but it's happened. After a novena, I said to Lila Therese, I have to make a novena. And the last day of this novena, I received the first message from the secretary of the MBECO.
Wow.
So it's so powerful, you know. And so the bishops were crazy enough to trust me, and I think it's due to the cardinal has a big responsibility in this, because he was the only one who knew me. So it was just him who could speak about what we did here in Sweden. Actually, I am coming this spring. Last spring, I celebrate my 10 years mission in Sweden. I came first time on May 2nd in 2008. So now 10 years working in Sweden, even if my superiors were not so positive. It was not so easy anyway, but you know, we have to be patient when we work in the church. We have to be patient, not to disobey, but to be insistent. You know, like the how you say, la veuve, this woman, poor woman who lost her husband, who was putting to
the widow.
You say
the widow.
The widow. The widow. You have to be like that, and you know, this widow who asked the judge to judge, and he did not want, but finally, because she was breaking his head, he accepted to make this process for her. So we have to be like that in our work, in our apostolic work. We have to knock the door again, and again, and again. And it's happened. You can do many things, you know, because you are weak, you are small. I'm not priest, I am brother, lay brother. You know, what you could do in Sweden, you are a priest. No.
And I mean, to bring relics to Sweden, to the Lutheran Sweden, then even more Lutheran Denmark, and even more Lutheran Norway. It's very brave of you to even think about it. But so far, we haven't seen any contrary reactions, you know, relics, superstition, things like that. But we have seen curiosity, actually.
Yes. You know, I have to fight a bit at the beginning against the skepticism in the Catholic Church. Yeah, it's always the case. All those pilgrimages with Therese started made in France when it was not the second one, because Therese made a very big pilgrimage in France when she was declared as a patroness of France, second patroness with Joanna d'Arc. At the time, it was in years 40s, 45, 46. The reliquary of Therese went in all the dioceses in France. So 2 years peregrination. But after that, she stops. And this project was launched when she has been declared as a doctor of the church. This idea came to bring the reliquary in those big cities when Therese went on the way to Rome, in Paris, Lyon and Marseille. And the bishops were very skeptic, will not work, but moved thousands of people, believers, who came to venerate the relics in Paris, in Lyon and in Marseille. And it has been the first pilgrimage. The second one, the first in this new time, in 94. Since this pilgrimage, Therese traveled all around the world in more than 60 countries. Even she crossed all the Russian from west to east. And why not in Nordic countries?
Also Iceland.
Also Iceland. Iceland belongs to this province, ecclesiastic province of the Nordic countries. So it has been quite challenging, but thanks be to God and thanks be to Saint Therese and Saint Zélie, Louis Martin, we made it. And we made it quite good mood. Everybody, I think, in our team, with local coordinators in Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Finland, Iceland, everybody is happy. It was not so easy. It has not been easy to prepare. But I think everybody is happy, has been happy to work, and even it's a bit tiring sometimes. Yeah.
I'm surprised here to see how many people are so seems to be so familiar with devotion to relics. They are very pious and they know how to do it in a proper way. So, but of course, the most important is that it gives the focus on the person of Therese and her parents. And now I start to reread actually the story of her life, and it haunts me how many problems she actually had with everything, small things, big things, and she's so human, she's so natural,
yes,
and
yes,
you can recognize yourself in her with no problems.
Yes,
so.
Yeah, that's true, and she has humor,
Yes.
So humor. So it's, since I am working for this pilgrimage, I rediscovered her message and her doctrina. And for me, it has been a very big chance, yes, to grow in my own spiritual life. So now I learned to be very cool, even if we are catastrophe. So don't worry. You will never believe me, how I found the car. I just, because it was very difficult to find a good car for this pilgrimage, to put the reliquaries and the box of the flight box protection, because we and Zeli, we fly to Iceland. So it was not so easy, and weeks and weeks I was looking for. I made fundraising to earn money and finally, because those cars, nothing fitted to luxurious cars and so on and so on. I didn't want this kind of car. I want a kind of Volkswagen, but good car, because we have quite a long leg to go, more than 13,000 kilometers, so it's quite long. And it was on Assumption Day. I was in Banner and I saw, oh, this car could be a good one. There was a family here, and I recognized this family because I met them several years ago, and I recognized the man and said, Wolfgang, I need a car. This car, that's the car. They borrowed this car for 10 weeks. It's amazing. It's totally amazing. It's a miracle.
Now next Saturday you will be in Vadstena, the St. Bridget's Center, and then it's a family day. And you mentioned already the parents. And to us, I think in all the Nordic countries, there is a kind of crisis of the family. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity to tell the story about parents with problems, and but their humility and sincerity. And when I heard a conference some days ago about the parents, I felt like, oh, I'm a very bad parent. I'm very bad. So, and just to take this down to what's important in the family, what do you think we could do to take this opportunity?
You know, you said you are very bad as parents, but you know, this profession to be parents is the only one you don't learn. So you have to be very inventive, to use imagination, and to follow your own parents in one way, what you had, what you received as good things. You have to, as a young parents, you have to ask advices to go on that way. You know, here in Sweden and in the Nordic country, but I don't know the other countries. I know a bit Norway, but I know quite well Sweden. So you have the most beautiful crisis in Sweden. It's a phenomenal crisis about family. I am joking, but it's not a joke, actually. So, you know, against this crisis, you can fight in many ways, but let the saints go first. Let the saints go first. That's the meaning of this pilgrimage. And the other meaning of this pilgrimage is to make people collaborating. It's not so easy to collaborate. I feel it between countries in the Nordic area. it's the same everywhere anyway, but here the Catholic Church is very weak because it's small, 0.7% in Sweden. So if you are totally isolated, you will just you need forces, and the union makes forces to be strong, but not to fight, but to believe, because you know the Pope Franciscus, when he came in Sweden, he celebrated this Mass of All Saints in Malmö, and he said the symptom of the holiness is the joyfulness. You know, if you are fighting all the time, the risk, the danger is to lose joyfulness. So you have, you know, your treasure is joyfulness. It's a commandment. St. Paul wrote in the first letter to Thessalonians, be always joyful, pray without ceasing, say thanks in each circumstances. That's commandment from God by Jesus Christ. So joyfulness is on first place. If you lose your joyfulness, you will not pray anymore. You will just criticize all the time. Oh, our society is so bad, and there is no hope here. We have just to close our windows, our doors, and to stay in by our own praying, resisting. That's not the way, because at that time you lose half of your mission as family, because you never forget the marriage is a sacrament which is ordinate to the mission. First mission is to love your husband or your wife. You know, that's this example which can make people believing this very so big thing, so big things. Jesus is married with the church, and a couple, Christian couple, is the reflet, like glass, you know, the image of this so big love, infinite love of Jesus for the church. First part of the mission. Second part of the mission is to raise children, to give to them education, and to give to them faith. And the third part of this mission is to be in the world, not out of the world, in the world, to show in the world by our joyfulness or by your pains also, to show hope. If you keep your hope, you will keep your joyfulness, you will keep your faith, and so we need it. So be joyful. Therese was very joyful, and the family was joyful, despite they lost 4 children, and at the end the mother, Therese, lost 2 mothers, her mother and Pauline, who became Mother Agnes. She lost 2 she lost everything when she was sick. But when you read the last talk, the last samtal på svenska, in English, so dialogue. You can feel she was suffering so much, but she was joyful. She was teasing her sisters all the time. All the time.
Okay, thank you, Brother Symeon, and we wish you. We know that we must pray for your trip all around.
Yes,
you will go to Lapland also, to Lannava.
Yes, we will go to Nordkamp.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I wanted to go there.
Hondingsvåg, I've been there.
Yes. You have been there?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I wrote in this small pilgrim book. You can say it's a very well made by Katolska edition. I make publicity for Katolska now. But the logo has been made by the communication border of in Oslo.
Mm-hmm.
So there are many collaborations. The preface is made by Bishop Kozon from Denmark, postface by Cardinal Anders, and I wrote some. And I wrote a little bit, only a little bit, but I wrote my dream. My dream was to visit all the Nordic countries, but I didn't want to do it alone. So my dream is totally fulfilled. So I will
with 3 saints.
With 3 saints, and all the people we will pray and find consolation, forces, praying and venerating lilla Therese och hennes föräldrar.
Merci beaucoup.
De rien.
Tack så mycket.
Varsågod.